Be sure and tell them Large Marge sent ya.
In the 90s, we were just teeny tykes. We went to movies and our bikes. We wanted to be DJs, but we were just teeny gals. So we went off to college and we remained best pals. 20 years later, we're still watching flicks and we're bringing you the fever bit by bit. Sweetie and Sweetie are here to say it's the Large Marge Santa's podcast. Hey.
Hey guys, welcome to the Large Marge Santa's podcast, your favorite podcast where two sweetie sisters talk about movies that shaped their childhood. I'm Sweetie with an IE.
And I'm Sweetie with a Y.
Today's my pick, guys.
Sweetie's pick, yeah.
Sweetie's pick. Guess what I picked?
Do you want me to guess? Because I know what you picked.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
like, I don't know.
Okay, guys. So, no big introduction here. I'm just going to say it. I picked the movie Mermaids. A lot of people don't know about this fine flick. You know, it's one of those like rando. It's from 1990. Mm-hmm. So like
Forgettable year.
Yeah,
It was 1989. I'll
It
tell
was
you that. I'll tell you that much.
Tell you that. But these movies that just like got made, and rom-com. I don't know. Would you call it a rom-com?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm sure it would be classified
So
as that.
like a rom-com, but featuring the darling of the time, Winona Ryder.
Oh.
I
was going to say Cher.
Cher is the darling of every time.
But specifically, yes, Winona Ryder.
But I feel like there were like these vehicles of movies in between basically like 1988 or whatever, and then up until like mid 90s. Winona Ryder was like the darling of cinema, right?
Yeah.
Like she was in like everything. So I was reading her IMDb and like, okay, she was in Beetlejuice in 88, and then Heathers, and then Great Balls of Fire, this one,
Edward Scissorhands,
Reality Bites, Dracula.
So many.
Yeah, like so
Little
many. So,
Women.
Little Women. Yep. So you look at her IMDb and it's like, this was her golden time, as it should be. She's fabulous. Yeah. But as a little girl, for some reason, two reasons why I always gravitated to this movie. One, I loved the movie cover.
Yes.
Right. So it was really striking. You'd like walk into the video store and it would be Cher dressed like a mermaid in a bathtub. I mean, is there anything better than Cher dressed as a mermaid in a bathtub?
Yeah, a movie that's actually about Cher as a mermaid in a bathtub.
Oh, awesome. And then
false advertising, though.
Totally false advertising. So I'd be like, oh, let me get this movie called like Mermaids. And then I got it and I was like captivated because it had this like kind of hot sex scene. And I probably was only like 12 or so years old. And I was like, whoa. We'll go into it later. But like it was one of the first sex scenes I like really remember seeing and being like, almost that kind of feeling you get when you're a kid. Funny. And you're watching something
feeling funny in your pants.
You feel funny in your pants, but also you're watching something. You're like, oh my god, I hope my parents don't walk in because I will be totally embarrassed.
Yeah,
but you're like really enjoying it.
I'm watching pornography.
Yeah, but I would say I was really enjoying it, and I was like, I can't stop, and So this is what stands out for me in this movie. Winona, sex scene, Cher dressed like a mermaid in a bathtub.
Cool.
How about you, sweetie?
Well, so I don't think I saw this when I was little, or if I did, I quickly lost interest when I realized it was not about mermaids. Like I said, false advertising, because I too loved the box cover of this and thought it would be an awesome movie. But then I think like maybe you told me and you're like, oh, like Christina Ricci drowned. And then like, it's always like Sweetie's number one thing to like tell somebody about a movie is to like tell the big scene that happens, whatever it is. Oh yeah, it's a good movie. It's this happens, this like spoiler thing. It's a very like dad thing, I think.
Totally.
But yeah, that's so. And then I think I saw it for the real Z's, I don't know, like 10, 15 years ago, kind of semi recently.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just like happening upon it on TV.
Maybe, or like I saw it streaming and was like, I gotta watch that because I never saw that. Yeah.
Well, good news, guys. Holds up. Love this movie. It's adorable.
Yeah.
It's random, but it's like super cute. So apparently based on this book called Mermaids. So they took like all that source material from the book, which is pretty cool. I'll check that out. And it's like rom-com, period piece, not about menstruation, guys. A period piece.
Coming of age.
Yeah. A bildungsroman, if you will.
A Mary Poppins tale.
Wait, is that what that's called? Sorry.
Bildungsroman. Roman.
Wow, jazzing it
What's
up.
happening? I know. I just couldn't remember the last part of that word. That is a
Coming of age, isn't it?
I thought that was a Telemachian.
Or is bildungsroman like the life one? Okay, keep talking.
I was like an expert on this last podcast, and now I feel like a total dummy head.
That's what you said.
Yeah, but then I was like the hero's journey, but maybe Bildungsroman is coming of age.
A novel dealing with one person's formative years or spiritual education. It's totally bildungsroman.
What's Telemachus then? What's Telemachian?
Telemachian?
Maybe I fucked up. Okay, so yeah, that's the main theme of this film.
Takes place quintessential New England town.
Oh, right. Yes. So we've got, Massachusetts. Takes place somewhere in Massachusetts. They make up a town starring, all their people that are famous, like Cher. Did you talk about Cher yet?
No. So skip that big piece. I mean, we talked about how she was in the bathtub. But, again, another movie in the 80s, 90s that featured Cher. Which, I'm sorry, they're all really good.
Oh, my God.
Okay? We covered Moonstruck when Mom was here. Awesome movie. That's probably my favorite of hers. Then you have this one, Mermaids. Then she was in Witches of Eastwick. Okay, we're going to cover that one soon, too, because that is an awesome movie. Yeah. So good. Again, takes place in a small New England town, right? Yeah. And Cher is fucking amazing. I mean, you put Cher in anything, it is fucking good, okay?
I mean, burlesque? I don't know.
I'm sure it's great. You know what? I'm sure it's great. I'm sure she's the best part of that dumpy movie. Uh-huh. But, Cher is just awesome. She steals it, no matter what. And, I learned that Winona Ryder got a Golden Globe nomination for this movie. So that's, pretty cool. Good for her. But, she was just okay in this for me. Mostly I thought her character was, batshit crazy and, could not relate at all.
Spasmatic.
Yeah. I mean, Cher plays her role as the mom in this so cool that even though you're maybe that isn't, your traditional mom, you're, just like everyone in the town, you think she's the fucking coolest. Mm-hmm. And whereas, and we'll go into this in the synopsis, but, the Winona Ryder character is, a fucking nut. Who wants to be a nut?
Yeah.
What?
Total nut bar. Yeah, she's a little over the top, I'd say.
Yeah. Get with it. Yeah. And I guess you're supposed to think that because she's reacting to the way her mom is. Yeah. But the opposite of how her mom is. But anyway, also in this movie features the first role of our gal.
Little baby Christina Ricci.
Little baby fetal Christina Ricci. She's so small. It was her first movie role. She's this adorable little pumpkin cut. These are her big giant eyes, she's stinking adorable as little sister Kate. And then our other favorite, Bob Hoskins.
You know him from Roger Rabbit, Hook, Made in Manhattan. You know what? I don't know why. Made in Manhattan sticks out. It sticks out to me as a good performance of his. I don't know why.
Again,
I'm not sorry.
Someone who steals a show no matter what. Yeah. I mean, I know he's was a lead in some of those, but
adorbs. But plays the love interest in this, which is very against rom-com type. I think anyways. I don't know.
With that. First of all, because he's older man. Yeah. Second of all, he's shorter, and not that short guys can't be with tall women, but
he's
awesome.
also half bald, so it's
also half
he
bald.
had two things against him, and a little chubby. He
has a weird accent
and a crazy nose. It's like a triangle nose,
and he works at a shoe shop.
He has a lot of things going against him, but he's
very intense in this. I will say he's kind of a weirdo.
He goes from 0 to 1,000. But adorable, love him. And then our favorite, not favorite, leading guy from 16 Candles, Jake from 16 Candles, whatever that guy's name is, actor, dumbhead. I'm that guy is the worst actor I've ever seen in my life.
Is bad.
I thought that he was just playing that character in 16 Candles, but then you're okay, this is 10 years later, and he's still a total dummy.
Who was hired based on his looks.
Yeah, let's just say that. Too bad, so sad.
Yeah, he's adorable, but it really comes out in this because he's basically a mute, the town dud. I mean, he's adorable, but there's nothing to him, right? Yeah. And it's just kind of interesting because the Winona Ryder character, she has such a crush on him, and she's so in has so much going on in her brain and everything, and is just always thinking about stuff and is really a very like deep person. And he's just like,
But that's what crushes are.
I know.
It's like you got to snap out of it, as Cher would say in Moonstruck.
Yeah.
But wow, yeah. So sweet little cast, sweet little movie. Quick, 93 minutes long, which seemed a lot longer. It felt like a 2-hour movie to me, but 93.
No, wait. It was an hour and 15 minutes. 50 minutes.
Even less than an hour and a half. So
no, it was an hour and
What's happening?
50 minutes. Not 15. 50.
Wait, what? Okay, yeah, I can't do
It did feel a little long.
So it did
and I was
feel like a
okay,
solid.
when
felt like a sour.
when is Christina Ricci going to get drunk and fall in the river? And
You
know,
didn't
it took
know
forever.
she was gonna get
I know, I
drunk.
didn't know, but I said that to be funny. But it did go on a little bit long because I just want to see that damn sex scene.
Honestly,
Like, can you?
Yeah. Sweetie was talking it up a lot, and I thought that it was going to be another case of like the Sweetie Files, which was like she exaggerated it or misremembered something. So I'm waiting for this. I thought the scene she was talking about was at the very beginning, like under this like church bell. And I'm like,
They
really?
only
That
kissed,
was
and
it?
I'm like, please, do you think I would confuse kissing
but
and
then-
sex? I'm not Charlotte.
But then you kept going back and forth on it, and you were like, something happens. Like there was like a heavy makeout scene, or like you couldn't
I know,
quite
because I
wrap
was like,
your head around
it wasn't sex, but it was sex.
It was definitely sex. It was like dirty, quick sex. It was wild.
It was wild.
But the last part of this movie is like the most wildest ride I've ever been on. I still can't get over it, but I can't wait to talk about it. But yeah, it's crazy, guys. Crazy. So yeah, I think we should wait any longer. Okay. Let's do it.
Wait. It's time for the sweet synopsis. Yeah.
Sweeties.
Death is dwelling on the past or staying in one place too long.
Charlotte Flax is a 16-year-old girl who lives with her mother, who she refers to as Mrs. Flax. Her mother, played by Cher, his name is Rachel Flax. I was envisioning it like flax, like Flacks, but it's Flax.
Like flax.
Flaxseed.
Yep.
I don't know why I was like, just the flax, ma'am. Just the flax.
That's not a word.
Or like slacks with an F. I don't know.
Still not a word.
That's what I know it's not a word, but that's what I was maybe thought
She's
of.
dancing with the chicken
whatever.
flax.
So, she got her mom. She got her little sister, Kate, who they never mention her actual age, but I would reckon she's around 7, 8, somewhere around there. And they move a lot. Their mom enjoys herself. You know, she has sexual partners. Sometimes, usually they're married. And something happens and they gotta move town. They gotta leave town. There's no way they can stay there, so they move. So this time she packs up the kids because she had been sleeping with her boss who was married. And the reason, I mean, it seems like they just broke up and she was like, gotta leave. Which I'm like, but he was married, you know, like,
Well, it's like he was going on some trip and was not going to take her. He was going to take his wife and she like couldn't stand that. So she left. So
weird. Because I feel like she likes the male, but doesn't like the attachment.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
you'd think she would like
she's
that.
got commitment problems.
But
Probably
yeah.
from being burned in the past because her first husband, so she's only been married once, was Charlotte's dad, and he walked out on her right when she was having Charlotte. So I think she's got
Yikes.
some PTSD commitment shit going on.
Sure. I mean, who wouldn't? So she packs them up. They move. She does this thing where the way she picks where to move next is she closes her eyes. You know, the old pull out a map, close your eyes, and put your finger in a random place.
It's pretty ingenious.
Happens to pick our favorite state and yours, Massachusetts. Home of the sweeties, yeah. Massachusetts, massholes. Fictitious town of Eastport, which we think is supposed to be like a Rockport. But it's very beautiful
North of
and
Boston.
idyllic and, sea and just a beautiful landscape. I don't know what that accent was. So they start anew in this town. I'm really curious about, they don't have any stuff. They seem to just have suitcases. So when they move to a place, they have to like find a fully furnished house.
Apparently, that's pretty common.
It's just an open question. It's an open question I have. But the house they get into seems to have their personality with it already. Like Rachel's room is just like that. Room came like that? I don't know. So, whatever. They move to this town. They meet, what's his face? Joey Joerson. What was his last name?
No.
I don't know if he had one. They just call him Joey or
he's
Joe.
the caretaker of their house because he used to live there.
Because he used to live there. So is he like renting it out to them?
Yeah.
Okay. Unsure where he
Because he lives in the convent.
Okay. Oh, okay. I thought he lived in like the clock tower, the bell tower.
No, so he used to be his house, and it's actually right next to the convent, but he's now the caretaker of the convent.
So he lives in the convent.
Also,
Okay.
town bus driver.
Town bus driver. Yeah. So he used to live there. His parents died or whatever. No. What happened
I
with
don't know what happened to his parents. Oh, his mom died.
Yeah.
Maybe he only had a mom because his mom died.
Okay. Something like that. Yeah. But he stays in the town, so he's kind of like loafing around. Charlotte falls head over heels in love with him. And this is like a very real to me and to you as well, I'm sure, kind of like crush scenario here where you're like obsessed and you're like, I'm pretty sure we're going to get married tomorrow. Like, should I start picking out my dress? Like, what am I going to do with my hair? But it's just this very fun thing. And they do this like voiceover, like her thoughts.
And Joe's 26.
26, guys.
She's 16. So, like, in your mind, you're like, exactly what you just said. Like, this is a fun crush. You're, like, already picking out wedding china. That's why it's interesting what actually ends up happening. Because you're like, what?
Don't jump ahead, sweetie. Don't spill the beans.
Did you talk about Charlotte and who she is?
No. So
as a person?
Yeah, so Charlotte's very independent. She is obsessed with, like, Catholicism. Specifically, it seems to be with the nuns. So I would say she has less of a like a religious fascination, more of a weird nuns fascination, to the point where she asks Joey if they wear their underwear when they take a shower. Like, why would Joey know that? I mean, he's a pedophile, but like, whatever. Why would he know that? But it's just like the weirdest. That scene is so embarrassing. But she's obsessed with the fucking nuns.
Right. So
they're they're like rock stars to her.
Right.
She sees one in the shoe store and she flips out.
So essentially, she was raised by her mom, who has had like a lot of men come in and out of her life. So I don't know if she's like reacting to that and saying like, okay, I need to be like the opposite of my mom because.
Yeah,
but probably. It's not like her mom is not like a good person. Like, she raised the kids, right. She works, like she has a job, she provides for them. It'd be one thing if she was like boozing and never home right. and stuff like that. Like, they have like a
she goes on
pretty
dates,
good relationship.
But, like, it's very strange. Yeah. And meanwhile, she's still having all these like inappropriate thoughts.
Right.
So she's really like coming into conflict in that sense. Her little sister Kate's thing is swimming. That's all you need to know. Swimming, and she collects rocks.
She likes marine life and mermaids.
Why does rocks fit in with like?
Because she wanted to make like an ocean floor, like a whole like aquarium thing in the bathtub.
Okay. So let's see. Mrs. Flax, Rachel meets. So this movie, I should say, this movie takes place like over the course of a year. So 1963 in Eastport, Massachusetts. So, we start in the kind of like late summer, I would say, coming into fall. So they just are able to start at the new school, whatever. Mrs. Flax and the kids go shoe shopping, for school, for your school shoes.
Stride right, what up?
Yeah. And they meet Lou. What's his face? Lou.
The town
shoe man.
Is a shoe man a word?
I don't think so. The shoe salesman.
Shoe salesman.
Shoe salesman. But he's got a sweet little shop. His main customers are like the nuns and then newbies,
Because nuns need a lot of shoes.
I don't know if there's anywhere else to get
They're not really wearing anything else.
Right. They have like one style of orthopedic. Like,
except
why does she have to try them on?
In the shower.
I have so many questions. But they meet him, and there's an instant kind of like chemistry connection thing that happens, I would say, between Lou and really all of them. I just feel like he gravitates towards them. Maybe because they're Jewish. Was he Jewish? Is that why he was like...
hard to find kosher food in Oklahoma.
Yeah. So yeah, they kind of Rachel, I keep forgetting her name. I keep being like Mrs. Flax. Rachel, is like, okay, he's kind of cute, so she agrees to like kind of go on a date thing, breakfast. They have sex immediately. It's like an instant attraction thing. But they start dating, and then we're kind of like seeing their relationship throughout the year. Some ups and downs, though. What's the biggest one, I guess? You can jump ahead if you want.
Okay.
Maybe to the first fight.
So, what is the first fight about?
Well, I guess it all starts with Charlotte going crazy.
Yeah.
Charlotte going bananas.
Yes. So yes. So they're dating, and it's like pretty successful. He's a pretty good, like, his kids are grown up, so he has kids, so he knows how to deal with kids. And obviously the girls like are, they have a good dynamic with their mom, but always kind of missing like a father figure because they have these men that come in and out of, Rachel's life. But I feel like all Rachel's boyfriends don't really interact with them. This seemed like the first one that actually like cared about the kids a little bit, because Rachel's like hot, right? So like guys, and it's like seems to be a lot of married guys or whatever, just in it for like sex and stuff, which she did enjoy, right? So she
tell you, if we were single women in the 60s, you would have cleaned up.
Yeah.
Cleaned up.
Right. But anyway, so that's all going along. So the first sort of thing that happens, and this is when kind of Charlotte starts going off the deep end a little bit, is that the big turning point in the movie is JFK assassination, right?
Oh, yeah.
So let's remember this is 1963. So it starts in like the fall, and then by November, right? November 22nd. JFK assassinated. So a huge turning point for many people in this country, and in terms of where the country was going, but also like everyone, they always say, you always know where you were when you heard that Kennedy was assassinated, right? So like such a big point. So everyone in the town is crying, upset. Nobody knows what to do. And it's basically this whole, for the country, like the whole country was grieving. It was like this just crazy time, right? No matter if you voted for Kennedy or not, it was just like fucked up. Everything seems so unstable. So, everyone's looking for someone to comfort them. And Charlotte, where does she find him again?
Like randomly?
Wait, his name Jake?
He's like crying in the bell tower.
It's the bell tower again?
No, his name's Joey.
Okay, so she finds Joey in the bell tower, and then they share a passionate kiss. So this is her first physical interaction with a man, and it's something she wanted since she met him, right? But she like instantly feels this Catholic guilt, and / also thinks she might be pregnant or is pregnant because someone didn't tell her about how babies are conceived. / she's just been reading way too much Bible shit because she thinks of immaculate conception.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, as forward thinking as Rachel is, and like even in the beginning, she's like, "Hey, Charlotte, I think it's time for you to have a boyfriend / make out and have sex." But at no point she's like, "I should explain to my daughter what to do so she can be safe and not get pregnant when she's 17 years old."
I mean,
doesn't cross her mind.
But also did like the bitch move schools every time they brought up sex ed, because I know they taught that in sex ed even in the 60s. Like, come on.
Yes, so.
Or she just like didn't even concern herself about sex because she thought she was going to be a nun, maybe, right? So any of those conversations she just like just didn't even pay attention to. So she spends like a couple days ignoring her mom and being like a total moody, crazy person because she thinks she's pregnant from swapping spit with somebody. Unbelievable.
Yeah. And she like goes crazy, and then at this point, right, is when she runs away.
Yep.
So she steals the car, drives to Connecticut, runs out of gas, and then stops at this house that is like this lovely, perfect family, perfect nuclear family, boy and a girl, father and mother, like everyone's happy. She's like eating it up. Charlotte's like, "Oh my God, hope they adopt me." And she just like, all she wants is that like close family, like old-fashioned kind of like family, or like a normal family, I guess you would say. And then they track her down, and then Lou comes to pick her up, and Rachel's so mad at her, and they get into this kind of like argument. Then at this point, Charlotte finally goes to the doctor, right? So she goes, and like she just wanted to ask a question apparently, but they like strapped a gown on her and put her on the examination table, and then a doctor came in and like stuck his finger up her cooch. Like, what?
Apparently that's how it worked.
In the 60s, you were just like, "I have a question." They're like, "Well, we have to examine you top to bottom." Maybe because it was like a woman's clinic and they were just like assumed that's what she was
Everyone there
for?
was pregnant.
Right.
Yeah.
It was weird. But he's like, "How old are you?" And she's like, "Oh, 18." And he's like, "Okay, but like, you know how babies are made, right?"
Yeah. So he could tell she was still a virgin,
Yeah.
because she still had her hymen. Ugh. And so she's like so happy that she's not pregnant, but still never tells her mom like what was up, right?
Yeah. No.
So stuff like continues to be weird.
But
with
it
them.
just seems to be it seems to be better, I would say.
Oh, it got better after that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, and then she turns into this like weird, like manic, excited person who's like, "I love families." And then Lou like does a project with the kids one day when he stays home with them, and they get really close. They make this nice dinner, and like Rachel's not having it at all. She's like, what the fuck's going on right now?
Because she feels like he's just getting too close for her. Like she likes these men to be like kind of for her only, and they're her thing, and she doesn't want anything to like disturb her family.
Her world was getting shook up.
Yeah. Whereas he like wants the opposite. Even though they've only been dating for like 4 months, he like wants like commitment, and he wants to be part of this family because he loves the kids, and I think he like misses his own family, and like, you know, it's like almost like a little bit gender reverse.
Yeah,
so usually you have men who are like, like can't do this, freaking out.
Commitment,
like,
what?
Yeah. So Cher plays more like the quote unquote like a male role, which is like kind of cool. So they have like this fight, but they seemingly like make up, and this is kind of the relationship through the whole movie. Like they're like kind of
no, but it's a big. Oh yeah, they have that big fight.
It's a big fight. Yep, it's a big fight. But then it's New Year's Eve, so they go to the same New Year's Eve party, and they're still flirting and dancing and whatever. But then he says to her, like, "Listen, I need some sort of commitment here." Which, in some ways, you're like, "Whoa, buddy!" Again, it's been like 4 months.
Right.
Like, pump the brakes.
He's like, "Let's get married."
Yeah, but maybe I mean that was kind of like how things were done then. I don't know. They're spending a lot of time together. They obviously got along. I just don't think Rachel was the marrying kind. Not because she necessarily like needed to sleep with like many other men. I think she just had been burned too much and was just not ever thinking like he says, like, I need you to trust me, and I think she just can't do it. So she gets a ride home with Joey that night because her car breaks down, and she's a little tipsy, and she's getting out of the car, and she decides to give Joey like a little bit of a smooch, and of course Charlotte's at the window and sees it all and flips the fuck out, which like you totally would. However, she didn't tell her mom that she made out with him, right?
No, but her mom knew she was obsessed.
Yeah,
obsessed with him. I
yeah,
think.
yeah. So that is like a pretty shitty thing to do.
Yeah, it was weird. Yeah. So then Charlotte really goes off the deep end, and here she goes cray banana. And one night when Rachel is out, we forget doing what. She's supposed to look after Kate, and Charlotte proceeds to get like extremely drunk off a jug of wine, put on her mom's clothes and makeup, and then like seduce Joe. But Kate's with her, so she's like, "Okay, Kate, like you can have like a sip of wine," which really is like more like a shot of wine, I would say, is what she gives her. But then behind her back, Kate is fucking pouring out full glasses and chugging them, and she is 8 years old and probably weighs like 20 pounds. Low estimate, but she is like housing that wine. It's very alarming.
Who's ever seen a child drunk?
Not me.
What's that the 30 Rock one when he does the monologue?
The baby was they were very drunk.
Very drunk.
But like it's a sketchy thing, and obviously would not have flown in today's culture, I don't think. No. But so they're like outside being like drunk and cozy, and then she's like, all right, I'm gonna go seduce Joe now.
No, she just like, let's go see the bell tower, not knowing he was gonna be there. So they go to wander to the bell tower. They're in like blankets, and like Kate has her little bathing cap on that she wears like 24/7.
It looks like a knit hat. Is it a knit hat?
No, it was a bathing cap.
Looks like a knit.
So then Charlotte's like, okay, I'm going to wander up to the clock tower. You stay here. And then Kate's like, I'm going to collect rocks. And she's like stumbling all around, you know. So then, as luck would have it, Charlotte gets to the top of the clock tower, and you have Joey.
It's a bell tower.
Shoeless Joey.
I keep saying clock as well.
Yeah,
but
bell tower.
Bell tower.
Shoeless Joey, you know, writing his diary or something moody shit.
In January in
it's
Massachusetts.
Freezing, is up there, and they don't even speak. She just lunges at him, and they start doing it.
They fucking make out aggressively, and then he takes off his pants, and then it's like dick in the vagina.
Her mom's like hot black nightgown lingerie, and her like what are the like tights that you attach to your garter
sure
thing?
Okay.
Just like hot shit. So they're like, whatever. And then they actually end up having sex. There's pee in the V, guys, and she's a virgin, remember, because you see her face and she's like, ah!
And she's like, it's really happening.
Yeah. It's really happening.
I mean, like, I didn't see any protection. Like, what the fuck? So, like, you're probably going to get pregnant this time, sure.
So she's so engrossed in losing her virginity that she does not hear her sister scream bloody murder because while trying to hunt for rocks, she falls over this, like, waterfall and into the water. And it's, like, this crazy river. And even though she's, like, a champion swimmer, remember, she is drunk and cannot swim and basically almost drowns.
It's terrifying.
Good thing the nuns were paying attention.
Notice, but you know who is on duty? The nuns. They come running. They fish her out of the water and then just like carry her into the convent. I'm like, mouth to mouth, please. Hello, like what's happening? What's happening?
And then meanwhile, like Charlotte comes out like hair a mess, her lipstick
fucking
like, all around her mouth.
Wow, yeah.
Joey looks pretty good. I mean, he kind of looks like he always does. Rumpelstiltskin.
What? Yeah, it's crazy. Great, thank you. So then cut to Kate in the hospital. She's in a fucking like bubble, an actual bubble, in a coma. I think it's because the nuns did not do mouth to mouth, but I mean, she was lost oxygen to the brain. Like you can't like leave that.
How long was she?
I don't know
because they finished. And then they came
right.
down.
Like what?
I know.
So I don't know. So then Rachel arrives at the hospital, livid, obviously, like can't even look at Charlotte. Charlotte goes home and like cries for a while, and then they finally like call her and they're like, she'll be okay. She's like, oh thank God. So then Rachel comes and they have like their big confrontation thing, and Rachel's like, that's it, we're moving. And like Charlotte's like, we are not, and she like throws a plate down and is like, you can't keep doing to this, which like fair. That's not right. Like you can't just keep moving every time it gets hard, right? Like it's not a good thing to teach your kids. Right. So they get in that fight, and then I forget what kind of like breaks it. Like
I was
breaks
trying
the
to remember
tension
that either, but she basically decides that Charlotte's right.
Yeah.
That she can't just give up things, and she does need to think about her kid's life, because she was kind of moving every time something happening with her life, not thinking that she could uproot her kids every time, but
like as if they didn't have a life.
Exactly. So like, and then really Rachel thinks it's because of Joey, but Charlotte's like, no, it isn't. Like I actually like living here. I like the school. I want to graduate. I want to have this like consistency in their life. So I think that kind of just hits home for Rachel, and she's like, okay. And she really likes it there too. I mean, it was like, she was just mad at her, and that's why she like wanted to move. So, yep, they decided to make a go of it. So then just the last scene is them just like, kind of moving their way through town.
Yeah.
Cool ending in that Rachel doesn't end up with Lou, which I kind of like.
Yeah, we don't think, right?
They're just still dating, and it's still like whatever. But again, I think she like, I just kind of like that it just wasn't in her to get married, and like she wasn't going to change that just because like she's true to herself in that, which I really like. And then you see everyone kind of just getting along, and in the end, it's just the three girls as the movie starts. Yeah. They don't bring Lewin into it or anything, and it's just them goofing off in the kitchen, like singing a fun song, making the like the dinner table, setting the table, and getting ready for dinner. So. Yeah, it was just kind of adorable, and you could see it being kind of like a book in that sense. Yeah, how you like, and
you can also like I think while I thought this movie was very sweet, I think that like it has some flaws, mainly that like there's not a lot of like resolution. Like there's like we had mentioned, they get Rachel and Lou get into that big fight, and it's pretty serious. She's like, "Why are you like being with my kids?" Like, but she says some mean things. And they have a blow up, and then they're just like, it's just like business as usual, going to the party still. Like there's no like what happened there?
Yeah, that was right.
And like things just kind of changed. Like nothing seemed like earned for some reason. Like we were saying, Charlotte's like craziness doesn't seem earned. Like I get why maybe you would go a little crazy if you thought you were pregnant, but like not steal a car and be like, I want to join a real family. Like. Crazy,
I understand
right?
why she did that at all.
Yeah, it just the motivation was not there.
She stole the car and was driving. She was for some reason had found out where her dad lived.
Oh my God, we had a stellar Sweetie confusion moment that happened circa now. Right. We literally thought she knew where her dad lived.
Like had found his name or
her
something.
car ran out of gas.
Yeah.
Was like, oh, my dad, and was like, you're my dad. And then like the whole time I was like, her dad's kind of weird.
Yeah.
And then it turns out it was just some fucking random family because her car did run out of gas.
Right. Who she like stays and has like breakfast with. And they're like letting her eat all this food and is like, here, have some pancakes, have some bacon, have some sausage, have some toast. Okay, who eats pancakes and toast, guys?
Too many carbs.
That's way too many carbs and like not satisfying. You only eat toast because you're eating a lot of protein and like you need a carb. You don't eat double carbs. It's like pasta on pizza. What's up with that?
Well, they do that. Bread bowl. With pasta in it.
No!
With pasta.
Macaroni and cheese bread bowl. No.
It doesn't make sense.
That's nasty.
too much bread. But on the other hand, we do serve garlic bread with pasta.
Actually, I had garlic bread tonight,
I
guys.
was just going to say.
With ravioli.
I was going to say, wait a minute. Why are we okay with that?
That was not too much carbs. It was delicious. It was maybe because it had garlic on it. It was like, felt like its own thing.
Yeah, I guess. But when you break it down, it's really the same
Good
thing.
rationale.
But anyways, yeah. So that scene was fucking weird. And then later, when she puts on her mom's clothes and is all crazy, she's acting so like the craziest I've ever seen.
But I think she was drunk.
No, she was, but we didn't realize that. It was just sweetie confusion again at first. We were like,
you don't
why?
see her drinking until after she's crazy?
Right. I just literally thought she was a crazy person now. And like, that's just, we're just accepting
Because she
it.
was like stumbling around and she's like, yeah, that was just like way too disjointed. Like all of a sudden she had like bouffanted her hair and like put on the eyeshadow and the lipstick. And then she's like, ah, look at me, I'm Mrs. Flax. Ah.
And she was like, she was pretending to be their mom, but we've never seen Rachel like drunk and disorderly. So it didn't make sense. So like that kind of stuff, maybe would have been better in a book. Maybe had
issues or something,
maybe in the book was more fleshed out or something. But overall, I think generally sweet as sweet can be movie. I kind of like it that it's like if Samantha and Now and Then's like if she was older and kind of liked her mom would be Mermaids, right? Because it's like her mom goes through the same thing kind of,
right?
Where like her husband has left and she just kind of like assumes this like very independent woman lifestyle, wears like sexy clothes, is the only single woman in town. It's wild.
And like honestly, I like that theme because the 60s was all about the 50s and 60s was all about this like fake American dream and these like perfect families and stuff like that. And like, I mean, I kind of like those stories because there were clearly like many single moms and women, and like they had to fucking live their lives and do their own thing. And you have this embodiment in Cher, who's like the perfect person to do that with because you seem like it just feels like she really like could live that life had she been in 1963 and a single mom. Speaking of Cher, so fucking beautiful. How hot is that woman?
Again, she did it again.
I mean, I know, like, like throughout time, she's been made fun of for plastic surgery and whatever. I don't care. That woman is hot as it gets.
She's half Native American, right?
She's like Armenian.
Not half, but maybe that was like a false
and I think
story.
that Native American thing might have been like a false thing. Maybe not. I did hear something about Cherokee tribe, but it's like a lot of people.
Maybe I don't know, but no, she's very like breathtaking. Like her beauty is. You've never seen anyone that looks like Cher, basically, right? She's not like your cookie cutter blonde,
right? That's what I love
beautiful
about her.
person,
and I think why she got like
she's
a lot of her fame.
Mermaid,
yes.
And I think that the whole the point was that they were all kind of mermaids in that sense, like a rarity, like something beautiful that's like unheard of, and like you want to. I don't know. It's just like this kind of independence thing, I guess, is what it means. Yeah. But wow, yeah.
But yeah, and then Cher's wardrobe in this.
Oh my god!
Don't even get me started. Obsessed. So half of her wardrobe is polka dots, which is my favorite thing. Thank you very much.
Both of her favorite things.
She had two adorable dresses. One pink and black polka dots, and one blue and black. Right?
Same dress.
Yeah, same dress, different colors. Amazing. And then she wears that awesome '60s look, which is like the tight little cigarette pants with the high heeled shoes and like a little sweater.
Man, it's the best. I've never seen anything better.
Oh, it's awesome.
Than that outfit.
Oh my God. And then they have this like kickin' station wagon, which are like, oh, station wagon. But it has like the cool fins of like the 60s one.
It's a boat.
Awesome.
Yeah.
The cool cat eye sunglasses. Like great kind of makeup.
The hair.
And she has like that, that awesome, bouffant.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called, where it's like the curls under in the end. So she, whenever you see her in her downtime, she always has the curlers on the end of her hair to make them like flip up like that.
I'm gonna start doing that. I have like a thing, but maybe the curlers would be better. Maybe that'd be better for my hair. I'm gonna try it out. I'll let you know. But yeah, wow, style, great stuff.
And it's such a contrast to Charlotte Winona style because she's like trying to be a nun, so she wears like the plainest dresses, this like really annoying velvet headband, a crucifix, like oh god. And then she's like really cute at the end because she like. Yeah, gets over being a nun.
Hey, listen, we all go through a Jesus stage, right? I mean, I went through one freshman in high school for some reason, was like really into God. Remember, I had like that diamond crucifix, and I don't know why though. Like I feel like it was more of like a spiritual thing. I don't know what happened there. It was embarrassing. I don't like to talk about it too much.
Yeah, I wouldn't talk
For
about
a
that
while, for a brief period of time, I was Grammy's favorite because I liked church.
Did you go to church with Grammy?
No, I don't think so. I just knew that like she got me the cruise. I don't know. It was something weird. I asked her to be my sponsor for confirmation, so obviously was in there. But anyways, yeah, I just think that was funny. But my favorite part about this is Charlotte's like internal monologue, I guess, right? It just felt very real to me as like a teenage girl, what she would go through. Right. I think that like, all right, I keep thinking she's 18, not 16, but yeah, 16, maybe like 15, 14, I think is what it felt like her attitude and like maturity level.
I think she maybe was 16.
No,
but
she's
delayed a little bit, I feel like, because of the whole like nunny.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Nunny thing.
Hey, nunny, hey, nunny. Yeah, no, that makes sense. So I guess right off the bat, though, I have to say that the box cover of this is Rachel in that mermaid costume, right? With like the blonde wig and like gorge, right?
Right. So it's the New Year's Eve. Someone has a costume party, and that's a costume. She goes in Boston, and she gets it when she's there.
That costume is like the best thing I've ever seen in my life. I was a mermaid for Halloween, and now I know where the inspiration for that costume came from. It was from this.
You know, my favorite thing about it was that, you know, when you see the mermaid costumes, like it can be like a little sexy. That one was like actually somewhat modest because it had like a sweater on it.
Sexy.
But it was like
it was a mermaid sweater. I had one of those too, but I still had like a corset.
Like
she still had a corset with like, oh, hello.
Oh yeah, no, but it was like compared to I think what it could have been.
I was just obsessed with her like wig. It had like
the blonde wig,
and with like the little green things in it, and then the tail was like this whole thing with like sequins.
And could move the tail.
Oh my god, it was the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. We've talked about this before, but costumes in like period piece movies, either in movies that actually were filmed and take place in the 60s or that just take place, so made in the 90s, take place in the 60s. The costume work for Halloween scenes is like unparalleled. However, weird choices. Like, so I think we talked about this in Hocus Pocus, right? We're like, let's look at the costumes around them. You're like, some are really cool, like Mrs. Potts, you know, that for that time period, and there's like a random person's like a goblin. I've never seen a kid just be like a thing, like a goblin. Princess, sure, but like random like fringe creatures, I've never really seen that. So in this town, we got goldfish. So Kate is this like cool goldfish costume in the beginning. I thought it was a lobster. I thought it was a kid dressed as a lobster, but it was Kate dressed as a goldfish. Oh, okay. Really cute costume though. But then we have a rabbit, which is like,
is that the Halloween party?
No, these are little kids trick or treating. Who wants to be a rabbit? Never heard of it. And then this is the weirdest one. A green angel. Have you ever seen a green angel in your life?
Maybe it was a sculpture covered with moss.
She had a halo on. I was like, oh, maybe she's a fairy.
Statue of Liberty.
But she had a halo on. The Statue of Liberty doesn't have a halo. It had a literal. That's different from a halo. A halo's like the wire thing that sticks up and is like the circle on the top. It's a green angel.
I don't know what to tell you.
It was weird. And then the adult costumes, which is the New Year's Eve party, which I think is pretty cool. You don't see a lot of costume parties on New Year's Eve. Yeah, maybe I would actually go out for a change. Right. We got like crazy women's costumes with like hoop skirts. I find are very interesting.
Little Bo Peep.
Yeah, Bo Peep. We had Cher's mermaid costume. And then some lady was just called it in and phoned it in, and it was a pilgrim, which
the worst,
which we can appreciate.
Okay, first of all, I was obsessed with being a pilgrim. I was never one for Halloween, but I just did it. Like
you were one for Halloween. Are you kidding me?
What?
And me too, Miss Chubby Pilgrim.
Oh, that was not my making.
It doesn't matter.
No. But
how can you lie to the viewers?
I was obsessed with pilgrims,
the listeners,
and I made my mom make me a pilgrim dress just to wear for downtime.
It was weird.
You had one too.
What?
Hello. She made us both of them. We were obsessed with it. We went to like Colonial Williamsburg and Plymouth Plantation. We came back like obsessed with pilgrims, and we're like, "Mom, make us a pilgrim dress." And she did.
But it's like the most.
They're like our settlers' clothes.
It's the most boring costume on the planet. A pilgrim costume. You're like, it's a Puritan. Like it's so boring. Yeah. There's that. There's like a generic king walking around. Abe Lincoln, a woman dressed as an equestrian rider. And then
it's not phoning it in. It's probably her weekend garb.
I know, you're right. That too. And then Lou was like a musketeer from the Three Musketeers, of which there's actually 4 musketeers. Very confusing.
He was D'Artagnan.
I'm not sure which one he was. No, but the adults, and I think that this may have been like a culture in in that time period, people probably like rented costumes. I feel like it wasn't like you went to a shitty Halloween store and were like, well, here's $100 for like a piece of twine.
Now Halloween is like totally garbage, but I have been to those stores where you can rent. I remember when we were in college, we used to have these big blowout Halloween parties, and I remember my friend rented a Tweedledum costume and it was amazing.
How much is it though to rent?
I don't know, probably like 75 to 50 bucks.
God. If
and
I
you just return it, but it's perfect because like you don't want to buy a Halloween costume
but
and wear it once.
I don't know, if I could buy a hoop skirt and wear it like all the time, I would. Like, oh my God, I would die. Didn't we have what was another podcast we talked about hoop skirts? I was like, I just want to wear a hoop skirt.
You know, you think it's
all I
fun.
want. Yeah.
I think they're kind of a pain,
but I don't know. I
agree.
love them. Love that look. But yeah, costumes are great. People really go all out, except for the Pilgrim Lady and the Equestrian. But yeah, that's my 2 cents. What do you got?
Good one. What do I got here? Question for you.
What you got?
Do you think that people are becoming nuns anymore?
Well, it's kind of goes.
Is there a shortage of nuns? Who wants to be a nun?
Why do we need nuns? I guess is like another question that I have. Where are they? I don't think they wear that like traditional garb anymore.
I haven't seen a nun in years.
Well, you haven't seen a nun wearing that traditional garb, but I think they're just dressed like everybody else. That's my popular theory because there is that like the convent in Somerville, like on Highland.
Near my house?
Yeah.
Wow,
like
yeah.
Which I'm pretty sure is for nuns.
I think I have seen nuns in there now.
See?
About it. Yeah.
You see nuns all the time.
Not all the time, but I feel like I've seen one on the street. Okay.
Are you just thinking of old ladies that you saw and you're like, she's probably a nun?
And we might have talked about this in another podcast that dealt with Catholicism, but like, you know, what's happening with Catholicism?
I don't
Who
think
is going to church? Who is becoming nuns and priests? Tell me this.
I think
there must be some crazy shortage.
It's certainly a dying thing for sure. There's been a shortage for a while. I think the latest Pope Francis, I think gave people some hope that he would like bring life back into the church because he was accepting, for the most part, of gay people or whatever.
Take out the celibacy. Let women
celibacy.
be priests. Celibacy.
Good
celibacy. Let women be priests. Like, there's all ways you could like modernize it, but they like refuse to do it.
It's like Republicans. They're like, if you just did this one little thing, everyone would vote for you.
It's crazy.
But it's So I think they're in trouble. Yes, dying breed.
But it's just interesting to me, like why any teenager with like. And that's why, obviously, the Charlotte character
why
was
does
so
any guy want to become a
interesting
priest?
and, like, conflicting.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like,
you just have this, you think this, like, higher purpose to serve this, and you believe this, and you want to devote your time to that. And it's really just kind of like, as Dad would say, getting married, like, you pledge yourself and
but it's not
your
like
love
if you were a nun or even a priest, like, you can do that shit before, you just can't do it after. But, like, Charlotte was just, like, going straight to, like, never having sex and gonna be a nun. I think some nuns like
I think that's how it works.
Yeah, you like kind of have a life and then you can be like, I want to be in the church.
I don't know. I think they give you a test.
No, they do.
I think they do the hymen test.
And like priests, the same thing. Like they don't expect you to be like have never had sex before you become a priest.
Yeah,
that's
they
not
expect
like
you
a
to
thing.
molest little boys.
Well, that's why they. I mean, that's a whole other thing. But.
They got issues. But Joey, though, pedophile. Let's say it.
He's not a pedophile, Andre. I stand by my statement that if someone like looks like an adult, I don't think that person is a pedophile.
That is the wrong argument. That's the argument that pedophiles
and
give.
You shouldn't be sleeping with someone who's underage. Yes, but like I think there's a difference between having sex with a 10-year-old and having sex with a 16-year-old.
I just think it's funny to call someone a pedophile.
It is funny, and it's funny when you say it like that. But pedophilia is not funny, and it's like a real horrible illness. And honestly, I feel bad for those people because they can't control themselves, and it's fucking sick.
Yes. But Joey should have gone to jail probably. Although I don't know what the age of consent was at this time or if they had one.
It was probably the age for marriage in Massachusetts is probably 16. Right. I mean, let's get real. It was 1963.
It was just, but again, today it makes you feel icky. Just like seeing an 8-year-old get drunk. You're like, oh, I don't feel good about this.
It didn't make me feel icky at all. I don't know. I know that they made a point to say that he was like an older man, but I like didn't really feel that way about their ages. Him feeling like that he was that much older. You know, he wasn't like I knew he drove the bus, but like he wasn't like an authority figure. They had like hung out. You know, it wasn't like, you know, and she jumped him.
It doesn't matter. It's like having I don't know. We could argue on it, but I think it's not right.
And that's why I said in the beginning that I found that interesting, that like, you know, that crush just seems something like, oh, you just fantasize about, and then it happens,
whatever. And you're like, whoa.
But like it almost never happens with people.
But do you feel like if Kate hadn't accidentally drowned at this, if that hadn't happened and it was just normal, would she have been like fine with it and been like, that was great? Or like if she didn't have this like crazy emotional upheaval afterwards, right? Yeah. Like what would the sitch have been? Would they have been together?
So like, I'm not. Again, I don't know if that casting was just kind of weird, but like I just didn't really see a connection with them. Like I think she obviously thought he was very cute. It didn't really seem like they had like a lot to talk about. I mean, he talked like a little bit, but like he was just so quiet and she was so deep. And maybe that is like what made them a good match. I don't know. I think she was just like, it was her first someone, you know, when you have like that sexual awakening, which we've talked about many times. For us, it was when we were 12. For this girl, it was when she was 16, whatever, because she was too focused on Jesus or whatever. But, you know, that's like such a special thing. And the only point being that Joey like made her realize that she did not want to be a nun, right?
Yeah. Or that like her family and her sister was like more important than her stupid feelings.
What, religious feelings? Or
no, like boys and I don't know.
Oh, I think both of those.
Yeah, I think like all of it maybe at once. And there is in the beginning, she does this like praying thing where it's like, oh, please God, let this happen, let this happen, let this happen. One of those things she says is like, please don't let me like fall in love and go crazy or whatever, which I read as like she had in previous towns, like had like crushes and stuff. I mean, not like gone through with stuff, but like crushes. Like it didn't feel like her first time at the like crush rodeo.
I thought she only said that again because she's seeing like her mom.
But she's never seen her mom like bend head over heels. Maybe, I don't know.
But I think like she would see her mom kind of get crushed by guys.
Yeah.
And even though that character of Rachel was like so strong and didn't let anyone, the only reason she didn't let anybody crush her is because she would run away. Like instead of dealing with it and dealing with her emotions, she was just like, okay, like
interesting that we refer to a crush as both a good thing and a bad thing.
A crush?
Getting crushed.
Oh.
And then having a crush. Are two like very different things.
I don't even know if crush is a good thing ever.
No.
Crushes suck.
Crushes are so fun.
They're so fun.
They're so fun.
You know,
sometimes
they
come.
Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad.
Yeah. Whatever. I don't regret. I don't regret my crushes.
I mean, I do when they like kind of exploded in my face, but
yeah. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah. What else do we have to talk about?
So this movie is directed by a man named Richard Benjamin, who is apparently an actor too, has a couple acting credits.
Benjamin with an R?
Benjamin.
Oh, okay.
Benjamin. And he directed some of our favorite films, including Milk Money. Similar ending, I would say, in Milk Money.
Oh, yeah.
Remember we were like so happy?
They're not like obviously together.
Yeah, she gets her ice cream
They're just
store.
still taking it slow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Money Pit. Awesome.
Great.
Who doesn't love the Money Pit? Tom Hanks, Shelley Long did the podcast on that. So fucking funny. And then what I'm going to add to my list for, months down the road, My Stepmother, the Alien. Does anyone remember this movie? Kim Basinger, Dan Aykroyd.
Not me.
Forget the girl. Dan Aykroyd literally marries Kim Basinger, who is an alien. Okay. And the daughter finds out about it, and there's this whole thing. It's good. It's good, guys.
She's a beautiful alien.
It's a good bad 80s movie.
Yeah. I look forward to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, love those. Love Milk Money. This movie also reminded me of, like I said earlier, that kind of like Mary Poppins theme, where it's like somebody that just has a cult, something happens and they move on to the next thing, right? It's very Mary Poppins. The wind comes, she's like, all right, my work here's done, gonna move on. Doesn't stick around. Also, Chocolat, which is also the same kind of thing there, where they kind of move in and out into towns and do their thing and then leave when it's time, when they deem it's time. So it reminded me of that, and I like that motif, and it's very interesting of thinking about life and not settling down, which you don't have to,
right.
But I think when you have kids, and it's thinking about other people maybe than yourself,
right? I guess.
But yeah, I enjoyed that very much. I also have a quick game. So there's a scene when she's at that house that we thought was her father, and they're like, "What is your name?" And she's like, "Sal." And they're like, Sal what? And they're like, Sal Val. And she like says that. So like I love when like in TV shows and movies when someone just has to make up a name on the spot and they just like come up with something. So I'm gonna play a game right now. Make up a name. Hi, what's your name? Too late. Keep going.
Cherry Garcia.
Okay. Great. All right, do me.
Hey, what's your name, little girl?
Eleanor Scrimlin. I don't know. Like it's hard
I
because
think we have to have one planned because it's the pause that really makes it seem like it's not your name.
but she paused a little bit.
Yeah.
You're like, like, yeah, you can't think of it. Like, if you do it again, like, just say it, like, say the first name that comes in your mind. Like, boom.
Sally James.
Okay. Tanya Harding.
Okay. You can't. You got.
It's hard not to say a real person's name. So I really value in movies when they come up with something fucking.
But why did she
random.
say Sal, which is not
I
really a
don't
woman's
know.
name unless it was like short for Sally.
I don't know. I have no idea. Sal Val.
Blueberries for Sal?
Maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I thought that was a nice little touch.
Good one.
But yeah, that's all I have.
Nice. Okay, the closing statement.
Yeah.
Great soundtrack.
Oh,
Another
yeah.
thing that I remember is that I don't know where this was. I think when you like saw this on video, they might have like put the video of Cher singing It's in His Kiss, the song from the 60s, and she like redid it for this movie, and they played it in the credits, and it actually I think charted in 1990 when this movie was released. So it's like a great song, and she does a really cool rendition of it. So the music video is her in her costume from the movie with her bouffant hairdo, and then both Winona Ryder and Christina Ricci also in that same exact costume, so they're like three identical little Chers.
It's really cute.
Like, is it in his eyes? Oh,
So the reason
you're not listening to all I say. If you wanna know if he loves you so, it's in his.
Why do you sing with like you sing with like one eye open like a pirate?
They can't tell that.
I've never seen you do that before. It was weird.
Give away my tricks.
It was funny. It made me laugh. But the reason I know that song is because in Road Rules, Australia, there's this challenge where the guys have to dress in drag and then they do like a lip sync. And the team that wins, Chad, wears this like blue bob wig and does this song, and the two girls are like the backup dancers. Yeah. It's pretty funny.
I don't remember that. Yeah.
So that's what I remember that song. So I had to think it was so funny that that's from this movie, that rendition. Yeah. But yeah, good times. Good season. Road Rules. Shane, what up? I think he's gay now. Nice. Good for him. Yeah. But yeah, cool, cute movie. Check it out. Especially if you haven't seen it in a while.
Free on Prime. Amazon Prime.
Yeah, good to know. And Hulu, I think. So yeah, lots of options.
Everyone loves the mermaids.
Right.
I love mermaids.
Who doesn't? Mermaids are so cool.
I overuse the mermaid emoji so bad.
You do?
Yeah.
You haven't used it in a while.
Yeah.
You know what they need? They don't have an emoji that's like someone saluting, do they?
Do they need one?
Yeah, because oftentimes it's like another thing, like thumbs up. It's like, got it. Like salute, you know? Like
you should write to them.
Yeah, that'll be my suggestion. Anyways, thank you for listening. You can find us, talk to us about mermaids on Twitter at the Sweetie Club.
I was hoping you'd do. You can find us on these platforms. They are.
They weren't here for that joke, so they don't get.
Wait, we did that before? Yeah. Oh no,
we weren't recording.
Guys, sorry. So to bring up to speed, we reminisced before this podcast about the time like Sweetie had to go get the Chinese takeout and I had to close the show, and I never done it before, so I was like, you can find us on Instagram at this and then Instagram
you can
site.
like kind of hear me being like shouting the words to her that she should be saying. It's pretty funny, and I don't remember what episode it was. So if you remember that, super fans, please let us know.
We should be more well-rounded and really change it up.
Do we? I think that's like the thing that people come to expect. But anyways, find us on Twitter at the Sweetie Club or on Instagram at Large Marge Sent Us. Thank you as always for listening. Bye. Bye.